Hey guys, my name is Spidey, and this week I'm going to teach you a really awesome mind game that you will always win. So whether you do this as a bet or just for fun, you are always going to win this game and trick your friends. So here it is, check it out. Okay, so I'm really excited to share with you guys this game that I came up with. It's based on really cool psychological principles that really make the person seem like it's easy to win, but they will never win. So whether you do this, you're at a party, at a bar, and you want to put like some money on it, or you want to like maybe, a drink. Now before I teach it to you, let's play. Okay, so the game is played with 4 pieces of paper. They could totally examine this. They can make sure that there's nothing else other than 4 pieces of paper. On the first paper, I'm gonna write down the number 1. On the next paper, number 2. On the one after that, number 3. And finally, number 4. I'm going to place these on the table, and the game is played down here. Okay, so here's the game. It's super simple. I ask you a couple of questions, all very simple. If you answer them all correctly, you win. Otherwise, you lose. And they're all very simple. We'll start with a very easy one. If I told you that this over here is number 1, what number would you say is on the back of that card? If you said 2, you are correct. Next question. What is the total of the cards that are face up? The total number, if you were to add them. If you said 5, you are correct. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, another question. What is the total of the numbers that are face down? If you said 5 again, you are incorrect, and I just won the game. And that is completely fair. There's actually no number on this. Nothing there, nothing there. They could check out everything. You just won the game. So as you could see right there at the ending, there's a surprise little twist that nobody will ever see coming. They will always guess that there's a number 1 on that paper, and you will always win, because there's a really cool and deceptive little secret here that makes this work, plus a bunch of psychological curveballs. So let's take it from the top, where you will learn this really awesome game. So the basic principle here is a really old mentalism thing that I've reapplied in a very different and new way. Basically, here's what's gonna happen. You've got your 4 pieces of paper. Now, you could take that last one and give it a bit of a bend. It's not necessary, it'll just help you out a little bit. You're gonna take the 4 pieces of paper, and this could be anything. You could borrow these pieces of paper. You could take like a menu and rip it up. I've done that before, just a piece of paper, rip it up. You could do this on business cards, whatever piece of paper works. You're gonna take your pencil, and you're gonna write down number 1 on the first one. Now you can do this out in the open. There's no reason to hide every single one of these, but you're basically just doing just one line. You're gonna move that to the back, like this. Now you're gonna write number 2. You're gonna move that to the back. Now you're gonna write number 3. Remember, you show them the number each time after you write it. It's very important that they see those numbers. Once you're done the 3, here's a secret move. You're gonna move 2 pieces of paper to the back as 1. That's why I put that little bend in that paper, because as you can see right now, it pops open, and it makes it easy for me to grab 2 pieces of paper and move them to the back. What that does is it brings the number 1 back to the front. So of course you wanna do this held up so they can't see that. And now you're gonna turn that 1 into a 4. So basically you're just gonna make the upper part of the 4. And then with my nail, I do this. Because if they're following, you want them to see. You want to see that. And now you turn around and you show the 4 as well. So now the situation is 4, 2, 3, and a blank. But they think you have papers that say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're gonna go down to the table, and I'll show you what happens there. Okay, so your numbers now are in this order: 4, 2, 3, and a blank one. Of course, they think there's a 1 on one of these papers. Now the important thing is don't slowly set these down because the order doesn't really make sense. Why would the 2 be here and the 1 here? Because you move 2 to the back, you've changed the perceived order. So I kind of very quickly, sloppily put these down so no one could really follow what's going on. 4, 2, and then this I do this way. And of course, you want to turn that face down because if you were to do this, they would see that there's nothing written there. So again, I'll slow down what I do. This, and I split these and I put them down like this. And then of course, if you want them to see better, you could turn these towards down like that. Now I ask the first question. I say, if I told you this was number 1, what number would this be? They say 2, and they're correct. Now, asking that and saying, if I told you this was number 1, really pushes in their mind that that is number 1. And now they got this correct, so they don't question that part. Now I do this. I turn over the number 4, and I switch it with one of the other numbers. This is really unnecessary. That switching is very unnecessary, but it's just kind of like, I'm trying to get them to think of like, okay, what sneaky move is he gonna do? They're not expecting anything yet. And now I ask, what is the total of the face-up numbers? Well, they see the 3, they see the 2, so they go 5. And you go correct. Okay, another question. What is the total of the face-down numbers? Now, if you did this right, and this has never failed me, they are 100% convinced that that's a 4 and that's a 1. So they go 5, because they don't know that you reuse the 1 to make that 4. And that's when you go wrong. And they just lost, and you just won. And the great thing about this is they can keep these. There's nothing to find. There's no extra 1. The 1 is masquerading over here. So there are a few things that are important to make this work, the real psychological curveballs, and I'm gonna tell you what those are. First of all, why 3 questions? Why not just put the papers down, say, what's the total, and get it wrong, or just say, what's on that paper, and they say 1 and they're wrong. Well, getting 2 questions right is something that in psychology we call pacing and leading. Basically, you're putting them in a mind frame of success. When they get the first one, you go, yeah, correct. And the second one, yeah, correct. They're now conditioned that they're actually doing great. So on the third one, their guard is less up. They're like, yeah, I'm nailing this. So they're like, yeah, got it. And now they're on a roll. So they're just gonna give you that answer without really thinking about it. The second important thing is that first question. The way it's phrased is so important. I say, if I were to tell you that that's the number 1, what number would you say that that is? The reason I ask it this way is because when they say 2 and you say correct, it's not just that second part that is affirmed as correct in their mind, it's the whole statement. Their mind now also accepts the first part of the question. Because I go, if this is number 1, that's like a suggestion, what's this? Number 2, correct. So now their mind accepts correct, that's number 2, and correct, that's number 1. Finally, when you get to the third question, you don't want to say, okay, now for the last question. The reason for that is because they know something's happening in this game. Now with the previous 2 questions, they almost forgot. They left that frame of you're gonna trick them and they're just playing this game. If you say, okay, one last question, that brings their critical thinking back up to 100. Now their guard is down. So I never say, okay, one last question. I say what the rules of the game are in the beginning, and then I just casually ask the questions. So when I get to the third one, they really don't know that this is the end. They just kind of feel like they're answering a couple of basic questions, and that's how you get them. All right, guys, so there it was, an awesome psychological game that you could play with a couple of bits of paper, and you will always get your friends, you will always win. Also, if you like this kind of content, which is like not really a trick, but more of like a mind game that you're always gonna win, or more like a bet style thing, a massive YouTuber visited me earlier. His name is Chris Ramsey. I know a lot of you know who that is. He's a real good friend of mine. And we filmed a really cool bet that I've invented, kind of like this one, but with coins, a game that you will always win. That's gonna be up on his channel, Performed and Explained. He's putting that up, I think, over the weekend or next week. So check the description below. I'm gonna put a link to his channel and a link to that specific video that'll teach you another really cool game like this one. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had a ton of fun with this. I hope you'll go learn the other one on Chris's channel as well. As always, let me know what you thought in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to share the video, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Peace.